Acts 4 and 5 are getting a nerf. Did you have that on your bingo card for Marvel Contest of Champions this year? You probably didn't. So, yeah. Did you know that? Possibly not. We're going to look into now some reasons behind it. You know, the Kabam statement that went out earlier. And also just some sentiment ideas from people. And also the thing that people are missing about this and why Kabam have done it. So Kabam have said, effective August 7th, we'll be revamping Acts 4 and 5, addressing some pain points that have held summoners back and updating the rewards. We'll be distributing the rewards differential to anyone completed Acts 4 and 5 content in the last 90 days. So if you've done it in the last 90 days, you get a little bit extra. If you've been stuck on Act 4 or 5 at, I'm looking at you, 5.2.4, we're making major changes to help address the problems that have been giving summoners pause. Acts 4 and 5 were identified as particular progression pain points for summoners in our mid-game. The intention for the revamp is to streamline the summoner's experience so they do not stumble into difficulty spike that feels unfair and discourage them from attempting to complete story content. Some of the changes coming to Acts 4 and 5 are removing class and character gates, interesting, removing excess link nodes, reducing ambushes, reducing hidden and randomized opponent elements, reducing total fights on some paths and replace repeated defenders. What's kind of the same thing. Removing role reversal, global nodes from Act 5. Removing camera lock in Act 5. That's a very interesting change. Removing the gate and key system in Act 5 and more. One of the major pain points we're addressing is the ramp up in difficulty nodes and node combinations. While some of them will still be around, they will now be confined to a path or two, and not the whole quest, meaning completion will be much more manageable for summoners. It's worth noting that the Maestro, Collector and Ultron bosses fights are unchanged. As mentioned, rewards are being retuned to more appropriately assisted summoners in their journey through the mid-game story content. The differential in these rewards will also be sent to summoners who complete the act, blah, 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 blah. These summoners are most in need of the reworked rewards in order to power through their story content journey. Conversely, players who completed content longer than 90 days ago are likely to find these rewards unhelpful with the challenges they are currently tackling. This is a very interesting one. It's interesting because there's a lot of kind of difference of opinion with it, and especially with a thread that we'll be kind of looking at in a minute, you can definitely see there is a definite difference of opinion on the matter. But there's also a secret one. So let's look at what players are saying, and then I'll talk about why there is a more, I'd say, better reason from Kabam that they're just not mentioning, and a lot of players in the player base have not cottoned on to. In any case, let's see what you're saying. Some people are kind of reached out to this forum. In any case, let's go over what you've been saying. Some interesting takes, some really interesting stuff. So someone said this might be an inspiration to go and full exploration. It makes the content more enjoyable. I'm at least glad they're making updating content priority. Yeah, Spidey Funko says, but why? They're challenging at that point in the game. And with how 5 stars have become easier and easier to acquire, it's not only gotten easier, there's no need to change it at all. That I somewhat agree with, but the first part mainly, second part not so much. I mean, give you an example, back in May, the May side quest with the spider bots thing, if you remember it, a uncollected player could only pick up 12,000 5-star shards. Yes, if they did something like incursions, battlegrounds, then they could pick up a lot more 5-star shards. Maybe that was kind of going to a point of, I don't know, guess 4 5 stars that the person could form on a monthly basis. Less if they decided to choose featured. So that's just the thing of like how you quantify this against the particular player progression. I mean, you have to again assume that a player is playing at uncollected and lower in incursions. Battlegrounds if they have opportunity, but that's a sketchy one. and they're getting the high volume of 5-star shards in order to give them the champions and to then go through stuff. So I don't necessarily agree with that because the evidence doesn't pinpoint and point to that. Rank up materials wise, could be a case. It's just, again, you know, you just like, it's different strokes for different folks. How you experience the game is going to be very much kind of like different from one player to another. Load of misuse time, I disagree with that one. Look, I'm sure some people would say that, well, they should be focusing on this or this. That's not the point. You got people that are trying to do an incursion side quest for next month. You know that? Did you see the roadmap? You probably didn't, but a lot of people did. So Kabam are trying to work out getting lots of stuff done. Make Battlegrounds better. It's taken them a year to get that done. But then teams go from different places to the other. I don't know if some of the Kabam team are working on the new game that they're doing. So I don't know if that has an impact. But when it comes to this, there is a good reason. And Kabam have seen the data. And that's the biggest thing to point out. Like, Kabam have seen data to pinpoint they've got to make some changes on this. And this is the thing that I don't think a lot of players get. And that is that we need new players to this game. This game can only continue on with the small amount of players that spend excessively as they do, but also the volume of players playing the game. And if you're a new player that comes to the game and you get stuck on some of this content, some people will then give up and delete the app. Not saying that's a case in fact, but something that I want to just mention. I mentioned this tons of time. New York Comic Con 2019. When I went there, I saw new players come to play Marvel Contest of Champions. And if you think some of the players that pick up the game, and there's some people that you might roast and go, oh, you're a bad player of the game. People were thrashing on a screen. I'm not kidding you. Like, these could be potentially new players that come into MCOC, and they were literally just thrashing, like doing this on the screen, or kind of tapping, or trying to pretend to swipe. It just didn't look good. And if that particular person that doesn't then pick up the game and goes, well, I'm not playing that game, it's terrible, or I'm not playing it particularly well, then that's a lost download for the game. The more people that then give up from the game from that particular point, you've lost them for good. You've lost them. They're not like veteran players like you or me, or maybe even some of the new players as well. But they aren't willing to continue on. And that's the thing that I think Kabam want to do, is encourage more people to come in, play, but also progress. The other thing that comes to that, the part 2 to that, is trying to get up to speed with roster strength quickly. Kabam want you players to get up to Paragon. They want you to be at the end game point, because at the end of the day, they have got all these different types of progressions, right? And they're trying to keep them all happy. The amount of people that moan about end game content not being there, there's also a lot of other players in Conqueror, Uncollected, Cavalier that aren't really being facilitated. The reason, and case in point, would be last year's, what was it called? Oh, I can't remember what it was called. Oh, God. Summer of Pain. God, how terrible that. Summer of Pain was a non-Cavalier and lower event. So that just gives you the idea right there. Like, there are, and there is, and there will be content that will just not be applicable, because Kabam want people to blast through and get up to the top. And look, as I said, you can look at this situation from being like, there's positives, there's negatives to it. Positives, I would say, is this Chapter 3 gate rubbish. The class system within 5.3, which is just ass. I hate that. I've always hated that. And yes, it's kind of like you kind of earn your stripes with it. You earn your stripes, like you earn a sergeant rank or whatever it is. But at the same time, it's like, again, like if you've not got players coming through this, they lose their interest or they bypass it. Maybe they'll return back to it. But if you're a new player coming to the game and you kind of reach a stumbling block, you won't want to go through it. There are casual players that play this game. There's also people that would see this, play up to this certain point and just go, nah, I ain't playing this any further. And Kabam must see some data to back that up. So, in any case, what's everyone's thoughts on this? Why do you think Kabam are doing this? Do you have your own reasons? Put it in the comment section down below. But yeah, so Kabam have nerfed this. But there's some beneficial things to happen. And will Kabam go further? Will Kabam go further than this? Now, I think that's the kind of the ending kind of discussion point. Will Kabam go further into stuff like Act 6? I mean, I haven't 100%ed Act 6 yet. There's no need for it. Because the rewards. Like, I don't need... Do I need a 6-star Nexus? No. Do I need a 6-star Awakening Gem? No. I mean, if the question was like, how plentiful are there's like, you know, the 6 stars more plentiful? Yes. 6-star Awakening Gems more plentiful? As of now, yes. Everything else is just not worth my time at the moment. And time is very important. Battlegrounds is very grindy. Arena is very grindy. Being a non-spending player means Arena is very grindy. I've got Act 8 to do. There's stuff to be doing. I don't know. Interesting topic. Thoughts in the comment section. Check out some other content and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.